Hello guys, welcome back to another video. In today's video we're going to be looking at the exhaust and we'll see what else we get up to. We've managed to get the exhaust in quite a nice spot really. It clears the tyre. Plenty of room for the axle to come up. Just like my Euro Series 3, it comes straight over the top of here, at which point we're going to maybe shorten this. We might weld this back on so that slides on so we can change it in the future. This fits quite nicely here. It needs a little bit of tweaking, but we're not far off. And this piece I have needs a bit of adjusting, but again it runs a nice little way down there, clears the bolts, plenty of room to work on them and work at the leaf spring bolts underneath. We have plenty of room for the fuel filter, and we've got a nice gap going down there, so if we can get that welded on something like that and then that one joining it, it'll be pretty good. I'm going to tack it all together and then I'll pull it off and we'll weld it up quite nice. Here we go guys, just trimmed a section of the pipe off that's down there on the floor because it was slightly kinked. Shorten it, and then we're going to weld this on this section here, and then we're going to put a bit of that on my pipe, wherever it is, down there somewhere. Here's our next section, just getting the shape we want to come out the other side there. We're going to snip it off somewhere here-ish. Just about to connect these two pieces here. I've just made this little piece here so I can actually have it on here while I line it all up, tack it together, and then I'll weld this onto this. Not looking too bad. I'll show you after we're finished. There we go guys, got it welded together. That goes towards the back. There's our centre low weld. That's going to be onto the manifold up here. And then we just got to fill in the hole. Here we go guys, got the exhaust done. Plenty of space underneath everything and around everything. We won't be having any exhaust vibrations. Down there, this is the bit that I adjusted because it was too long, and then we went down and underneath onto the engine, and now we are just working on the rear tub. I've got new galvanised ones of these, so we're just going to strip these off, do some kind of repair on the holes in the floor, get rid of these brackets off the back. So we're going to chop through them bolts, get them out of the way, see what we need to do. Couple of holes to repair. put some epoxy in these holes as well. Give the strength back. Knock these out of here. It's not too bad considering. Not too bad at all. Look at that, solid. That one's pretty much come off. Right. Here we go. Gotta get these bolts out of here so I can bolt them on. I think there was like a rivet, but I use a 10mm bolt. Gotta patch this up. So what I'll do is I'll clean this area here. I'll epoxy resin a piece of aluminium on and fill these holes in as well with epoxy and do the same here, and then I bolt the new one on to hold it all together while the epoxy goes off, and then I unbolt it then and then I'll paint it. In the middle section there's not too much to do. We've got to get rid of these bolts. The floor's okay, this isn't too bad. We'll probably fill this one in and that little bit there, and then we've got two holes here that we can use to bolt it down. Got to clean these holes out, do the same patch here and fix these, and then we're going to do a patch here, clean these, bolt that on, and that'll be alright. We have these here, which I think will probably go for maybe an aluminium plate over each side bolted on, maybe up over here, and then we can have a hole through them, and then it should, with a bit of epoxy on there as well, that'll create a nice good strong bond. The other side isn't as bad, we just need to look at it a bit, and then we might put a piece on here as well. Definitely gonna have to do it over here, a bit of epoxy, need a bit of strength back in these. We might weld a piece over here, I might just leave it, I'm not that bothered. Right, here we have our three brand new little bracket things, I don't know what they're called, rear tub brackets I think they are. Rear tub cross member apparently. Right, so it's going to go on here, and as you can see we have plenty of room to play with. I think we'll probably get a closer gap afterwards, so probably if we go onto some holes, let's just move these ribs out. Right. Hang on. Yeah, not playing the ball. Right. So if we go down here where it's really clean, even then we still have room to put a patch on, as you can see. The middle section's almost touching. You know, that's touching. That's not bad. But on the both ends there's a slight gap, so when we put a patch on it'll be perfect. And then on the inside the epoxy, I hope, will be almost flush with the floor, so I can just give it a bit of a sand and paint over it, and you shouldn't be able to see it too much. And it'll be as strong as just a solid piece of aluminium in my opinion. Just trying to get this bracket off here. As you can see, is it? Where is that nut? It's just going around here. You can see that? So, I don't really think it's attached very well. So, I'm going to try and put a screwdriver under here and see about getting it off. Right, I'm going to have to get an angle grinder in because it's like a screw head, as you can see. So I'm going to have to cut it. I've also noticed that the galvanizer's broke here, but it's a long time ago because it's rusty on the edge. So probably with the weight of the wheel on there, it was a spare wheel mount. After seeing how these mounts work and where they bolt them onto, I don't think they're that good, because they go through on the inside, and if they'd have bolted it on the inner box section it might have worked a bit better, but these just went straight through to the back of this skin where they put the bolt, so it's torn through the galvanized and started to tear through the aluminium here. I'll probably try to get it lined back up, but there's not really much you can do about that. I don't really want an ugly weld on there. Just test fitting it all before we start to glue, and it is looking pretty good. It's the next morning. The epoxy has gone off, as you can see, solid. I've took the bolts out of this one. The bottom one, this is how I had it, so that I could keep pressure on the patch. So I'm going to take them all off now, and then we'll carry on our repairs. That's what it's going to look like. It's nice and stuck on there, not going anywhere. I scored up the other side of the patch before I stuck it on, and then the epoxy sticks to all this as long as you clean all the oxidization out, and then you get a nice solid piece. I'll show you the other side. So this is what we're left with on this side, slight hole. So what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to fill it up with a bit of filler, just fill in the gap, and then I'll sand it back. Same with this one here. And this one down here, and then it'll be nice and smooth, and I can just put a little bit of paint on there and jobs are good. Right guys, we've got the rear tub on. We just started to put the bolts on. Got these to go between the chassis and the rear tub. These are bolts. We have our brake pipes in now. Exhaust is done. Got a bit of cleaning to do. There's some repairs here. It's easier to do on here because I can get both sides quite easy, and it's nice and high up. Prop shafts have been painted. The bolts have been tightened up on everything. I've just got to take the slave cylinder out, forgot about that. All the chassis been oiled inside. We can get our floor repairs done now. That's how they look without no filler or anything. So we'll just give it a lick of filler inside, sand it back a little bit and then paint it, and then that'll be done. Because that is solid. And then we need to paint these up and everything, but we'll get there. Right guys, it's a bit late, but we got the roof on. Hang on. Which is quite nice. Right guys, that's it for this episode. I think we've done alright. I'll give you a little look around it in the daylight, and then I'll see you in the next one. So we've oiled in the entire chassis. Still got to get that off. Here's the seat box, needing a little bit of repair inside and around the end there. Need to do the brakes still, but with all new copper brake pipe put on. We've put the little padding between here to help with the aluminium touching the steel so it doesn't happen. We've just got to tighten all these up yet. Copper pipe running down the side there. Got quite a nice body fitment down here. Inside the rubber mat. I think they'll stand out more if I paint these, because you can barely see them through the mat. I think fresh paint will just make it stand out. Got to repair all these yet, all the seat bottoms. They're all in good nick apart from the wood's gone rotten. And we have these windows that I have to sort out. Quite nice really in here. Got an interior light. We have the roof rack on. The roof rack's quite interesting. It's it only goes like 3/4 of the way, which I think is quite strange. Need to find another Lucas lens for this side. I think I have one. Well, you've got one on here, a Land Rover, so I'll probably use that with an old little lens on here. This side's looking quite nice. This is the only damage I think on the body, is this little crease here. But it's barely anything. Looking quite nice. I'm half tempted to swap this for a LED one. We'll see what happens. You see, I want to get the bolts in here before I bolt it all up, but I've got to bolt that on with a ladder, so that's why I put the roof on. I know I'm going to have to leave it, I'm going to have to loosen it at the front so I can get the windscreen in, I reckon. I have to take the steering column back off and this bracket because I'm not unbolting it off there. It's in the right place, and then I'll just put it in after I put the bulkhead on. I've got to put the bulkhead on to set it all up, and then I'll take it off and paint it. All the prop shafts have been painted. Copper pipes just rolled up there until we know where it's going. Just got to do the overdrive lever back on. All the handbrake's done, working perfectly. Stays up, down, you know, perfect. Got to sort clean all this out and everything, but it's really tidy. It's really tidy. Half tempted to get a different cap. It's a bit rusty for my liking. Might clean the bracket up and paint it or something.